Okay, so today, in this session, we're going to talk about how to download Java, specifically the JDK, Java Development Kit. JDK, Java Development Kit. And the JRE, Java Runtime Environment. Okay, these are the two things that you're going to need in order to compile and run your application. At this time, during this time of this recording, Java version is at 10.0.2. But it doesn't really matter what version. You just want to get the latest one for several reasons. Mainly is for security reasons. Okay, so this is what we want to do. Get both of these installed and double check to see that they were installed properly. Okay, so one thing you might want to do first off is to see if you already have it installed on your machine. If you haven't installed it, most likely you probably don't have it. Even if you do have it, you probably don't have the latest version. All right, so the one way to do that, I'm on a Mac OS. Windows will work the same, and so will Linux. Mac OS is based on Linux, so those are very similar. Windows is slightly different, and I'll try to make sure that I talk about both as I go through here. So first off, on Mac, I want to open up a command window. However, on Mac and Linux, they're called terminal windows. On Windows machines, they're called the command line. So if you bring up the search button over here, since Mac does not have one, I'll have to just talk you through it. And in the search window, which should be right down at the very bottom left where my arrow is, just type in CMD. So on Windows, you'll type in CMD in the search window, and you should see command line pop up. Click on command line, and you should get a window that looks similar to this. Now, it might be a black background, which is just fine, but you should have a prompt waiting for you to type something. So here in Mac OS, then you'll do something similar. I just want to go to Launchpad is one thing I do it. Down here at the bottom, you'll see Terminal, where my arrow is. You can click on it and get another terminal window. If that's not there, then you can go to your Launchpad and then find the terminal window in your applications there. Okay? So once I have done that, I get this terminal window or command line up, and here I can just type in Java C for Java compiler space -- version and hit enter. And what you should get is the version of Java that's installed. This specifically is the JDK, Java Development Kit. If it does not recognize, if your system does not recognize Java C, then that's what we need to rectify. We need to fix that problem. Okay? So I'm going to minimize this and get it out of the way. What you want to do is pull up. Oh, by the way, if you got another version, if you have 8.1 or 7. Whatever, then you want to go ahead and update that. So you'll go through the same process that we're going to do here. Okay, let's minimize that. We want to download the JDK and the JRE, Java Runtime Environment, as well as the JDK, the Java Development Kit. So go to a browser, type in your browser, download JDK. The first link probably is going to, whether you're on Bing or Google or whatever, is probably going to be this Oracle site, oracle.com. And that's who owns Java now. And so if you click on this, it'll take you to a window that looks like this. Here you'll see the Java SE, the environment, is at 10.0.2, and that's what we want. Over here to the right, you have the JDK. Okay, if I click on, what you will download is both the JDK and the JRE. Okay, you need them both because the JDK will compile, the JRE will run. Okay, you want to keep these synced at the same version as much as possible. All right, now I'll talk about that in another video. So you will click on the download. You'll go to the Java Development Kit 10.0.2 and find your OS. I've got a Mac OS, so that's the one that I would install. I've already got this installed, so I'm not going to go through that last process. But you will just take the defaults. So if you have a Windows machine, which you probably do, download the Windows 64 binary, execute it, and just take the default settings. All right, then you will come back, go to the JRE, download the JRE, go through the same process, and by the way, don't forget to accept the licensing agreement, and then find your Mac OS or your Windows OS or your Linux OS, whatever you're using, and then download the proper installation. If you're on Windows, you will most likely get this exe, which is an executable installation file. Download that, do the same thing, go through all the default installs, the settings for the installation, and you're done. It's that simple. All right, so when you have done this, I won't wait for you now. If you want to do it right now, that's fine, and pause the recording or the video and come back to it once you're done. But once you have, you'll bring up your terminal window again. Don't forget how we get to here. In Windows, you'll just go to the Start button down at the bottom left, and then type in CMD for command, and then select Command Window when it pops up. All right, so it may say command.exe, and that's fine, just click on that. Once again, now when you type in Java C -- version, you should get that 10.0.2. Also, test JAVA, just Java, and then version, RSION, and you should get the 10.0.2 again. You want to keep these in sync. Notice that this time, however, I use the runtime environment to execute the program. Okay, so this illustrates the importance of keeping those synced. Why would you want to compile under one version but run your application on a different version? All right, so the Java C is a compiler. The Java executes the interpreter, which runs your Java program. All right, all for now. We'll be back with more in just a bit.